Now, before I move forward, like some of the questions which we got is that how this pull-based thing is linked with Agile, or how this thing is linked with Lean. And Lean has very much like a problem with waste. So the first principle of Lean is about eliminating waste. It talks about that whatever you are doing, so in order to deliver a value to your end customer, you might be doing 10 activities in your value chain. And out of these 10 activities, there could be many activities which you are just doing because your given process is talking about it, but they are not adding value to the end result which you are producing. So the first principle of Lean software development talks about that identify these wasteful activities, whatever you are doing which is not adding value to the final product of customer is a wasteful activity, try to eliminate that. The second Lean principle is about build quality in. This principle talks about that rather than doing an inspection of your work item, do a preventive things. Design your process in a way that whatever you produce has an inbuilt quality. So less on building quality inside the process rather than ensuring quality by doing an inspection. Less towards inspection. The third principle talks about create knowledge. Good amount of time we as a software professional spend in relearning something which has been learned by either some other team member or by some other project team. So this relearning is also represented as a waste item in Lean principles, and it talks about that we should have some mechanism of creating a knowledge base. So we should learn as we move forward. We should learn about the system, we should learn about our product, we should learn about our customer behavior, and we should preserve that learning so that we don't spend time relearning the same thing again and again. Now the fourth principle, which many of you may find quite interesting, is deferred commitment. Now, traditionally, we have been taught that we should keep thinking about future. Assignment to be made today. So delay the things as much time without negatively impacting your project. Why are you delaying it? Why are you delaying this particular assignment? Because during this 2.5 months, maybe the last responsible movement for 3-month assignment could be 15 days ahead of the date. During this 2.5 months, you may learn about many things about the person, about the system, about the environment, and after this 2.5 months, whatever decision you make about the 3rd month work, it would be more informed and more intelligent. And you are not getting anything by making this forecast today. Rather, you definitely have to rework on this particular forecast as you reach to your 3rd month. The 5th principle, which is most of being the small batch size. Lean Agile will not bring some magic and we will start producing twice the amount of work which we have been doing today. It's all about slicing the work. So we need, yeah.
Saket, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think there's some problem at your end because there's a very good amount of call drop from your side in the past 5 minutes or so.
Drops are coming?
Yeah, as in you're not completely audible. So the call is getting dropped in between. So just make sure that all the web browsers are shut off at the present moment, and you're just using the GoToMeeting control panel as of now and your PPT.
Okay. So was the complete content were understandable, or should I repeat a bit?
Ideally you should, because I think there was a disconnect. I could not hear. I'm not sure if others could. Maybe if you could go back and take them through the entire, maybe from the very beginning of this particular slide. wherever you started.
Yeah, I will do that. I will
Sure.
do that. So I will also go a bit slow. Maybe that is also creating the problem. So a 7 principle of lean software development. And here we talk about a first principle where we talk about eliminating waste. So lean has a problem with waste, and the lean recommends that we need to analyze all our activities and need to categorize them. Are they adding value to our end customer? If they are not adding value to our end customer outcome, then they are possibly a candidate for a waste. The second lean principle talks about build quality in, where we focus on building quality inside the process, inbuilt in the process rather than inspecting it after developing something. The third principle is all about create knowledge. This principle talks about that a good amount of time we as a professional spend in relearning something which somebody else has learned before. So we should have some mechanism of inventorizing and reusing our knowledge. The fourth principle, which is a deferred commitment, which is an interesting principle because from a long time we have been thinking about forecasting things in advance. Now the deferred commitment talks about that do the things at last responsible moment. Means don't commit to a requirement, don't commit to a schedule till the time it is not negatively impacting you. Means if you have to do something after 3 months, it's not necessary to commit or make the detailed activity for that particular task today. You may do it 15 days in advance, because in next 2.5 months you may explore more about the given problem. The next one is deliver fast. So keep your batch size small. Rather than working on a big item and creating in-process inventory, you should work on a small items and keep delivering those small items frequently to the end customer. The sixth lean principle is all about respect people. So we got some queries related to respect people, that how do we ensure that people are mature enough to pick the work. Now this principle talks about that in general people are there to work. They really want to work if they get the right direction and they get the freedom of how part of identifying their work. The final one, the seventh lean principle, talks about optimize the whole. Now this principle talks about rather than only focusing on pocket of improvement, like we only focus on how to improve the development process, we should focus on end-to-end delivery. Because if we only improve the development process, we may bring a bottleneck at a testing process, or we may bring a bottleneck at a deployment process. So we need to ensure that not only a given process is optimized, but our end-to-end delivery, our complete value stream is optimized. Now, few of you asked about that how this thing is related with Agile or Kanban or Scrum. Now here I am trying to map that how this thing can be used in Agile or in any software development project. So here I am taking an assumption where I have set of requirement, means there could be a two type of software work which we might be doing using this type of mechanism. One type of project or an activities could be where we have a complete flow of work, like things keeps coming in and we keep serving them, so kind of a production support system. But here in this example I am taking a case where we have a product backlog, a list of requirement which we need to produce in a given duration, maybe in given iteration. So the first thing we can do is the way I explained in the photograph before, that we do a planning meeting where a team member and a project manager and a business people can come together and identify which set of features they want to develop in a next iteration or in a next duration. So just for a simplicity's sake, you can think of that we are doing our monthly planning. So on a day 1, we are trying to identify that out of our backlog of work, which all things are the one which we should finish in a given month. So that's the first thing. Now we also need to visualize our workflow. We need to identify that our task goes through how many stages before they deliver a value to the customer or before we mark them ready for the shipment. So we visualize the workflow. In this particular diagram, I have visualized only two stages like development and testing, and after that it is ready for the dispatch, so it is done. You may have multiple stages in your workflow. The other thing which is kind of related with when the question was coming that if you have a multiple projects, then how can we implement such kind of an environment? Now the other thing which you have to do is at each stage you need to fix WIP limits. What does it mean? Work in progress limits. It could be visualized as, for example, if you go for a car service and at various stages of your car service, the servicing company will be having a limited infrastructure. For example, at a given point of time, only 10 cars can be washed. Only 5 cars can be checked for wheel alignment. Now, if you have a more car, you need to wait. And if they don't have a capacity to serve, they may stop taking the new car for the service. So similar way, you can visualize that as an organization, as in a team, we need to agree on how many items a development team can take in process at a given point of time. So that could be a slots. So we can visualize as a possible available slots, and if you have available capacity, then only you will pick it work from the previous stage. So this is how we do a scheduling as well as managing multiple things. Now, how do we monitor this particular progress? We monitor the complete cycle time. We monitor that how much time this process is taking and are we improving in this particular cycle time month on month. Since we are talking about various stages, like work will move from stage 1 to stage 2 and stage 3, we also need to have an explicit policies that when can I say that this particular feature is ready for development or I am done with the development. So at each workflow stage, we would be having defined policy that when can I move this particular item to the next level. So in a simple language, we have a big work item. We take a slice of that work item, and these small slices we put in our factory or a development floor. And development floor is always aware that these slices have to go through 3 steps before a consumer can use it. And for these steps, all these 3 steps, you have a specialized unit who takes care of this area. And every unit is aware of what they have to do when things passes from one stage to another. So that is could be a simplified explanation of this pull-based scheduling for software development projects. Now, airport is a perfect example of pull-based scheduling. Now, when you go to an airport, when you reach to a airline counter, you get a boarding card. This boarding card will take you through the complete process. And at whatever stage you are, is the security is done, is the immigration is done, everything is visible or stamped on your boarding pass. And whenever you want to know more information, if you get confused at which gate I have to go and is my flight is on time, you can look around. You can look to the visual indicators which are placed in your work area, and they will give you the required information. So the ticket, the boarding pass is a media of taking you through various steps. The workflow is also well defined. It is defined that you need to go through security check, immigration, etc., etc., and this boarding pass will facilitate you throughout the journey. Now, the philosophy of this pull-based scheduling is actually the just-in-time. We focus on that we don't build the feature till the time it is not needed by the customer, and we don't write the specification till the time there is someone there to do the development. Now again, focus on last responsible movement. If I keep writing a lot of specification and nobody is there to develop it, whenever somebody pick that particular specification for development, he will ask 10 questions. And if the time delay between writing the specification and picking the development is long, the situation might have already changed, or you might have already forgotten what you have written. So we only write the specification where someone is there to code it. We only code the part of the product where someone is there to test it. And again, we only test which somebody can deploy it and customer can consume it. So in a way, the previous slides was depicting a flow of work through various stages. We ensure that these stages pick the work just in time. We don't anticipate, and we should avoid a situation where we have one stage is having long piles of code where they are done with the task, but the next stage is unable to pick it. Now, this